This is called The Legend of the Fairy Dust. In ancient realms where dragons flew, both bearded knights and rulers knew that dust from fairy wings could do what gifted gurus could not do. The dragons used the fairy dust to breathe and blast their deadly fire, and wizards had to trust the dust or else their spells would quickly tire. All meager men and courtly crews and clannish creatures crossed the sea, wherever seeking news and clues of where a dash of dust could be. And so the stuff was often sold for kingly crowns or gobs of gold, for fairy dust had worth untold in legendary days of old. Within that runic realm of yore, there lived a bright and beamish boy whose parents were so very poor he didn't own a single toy. His name was Locke. He loved to play, but he was rather sad, I'd say. For nearly every night and day he worked and worked for little pay. One fateful day when work was done and Locke was dawdling, half a dream, a reddish beam of setting sun befell a bag beside the stream. "I wonder what that is," he said, and stooped to take a closer peek. But when he loosened up the thread, he peered inside and gave a shriek. His heart began to pound and pound inside his chest with thud and thrust, for there inside the bag he'd found was gleaming, glowing fairy dust. Beneath a bright and blushing sky, a simple sparkle filled his eye. "With this," he said, "I'll surely try to comfort those more poor than I." As Locke bethought this blessed boon, he broke into a blissful tune and couldn't help but call and croon and cry with joy, "I'll be home soon." But Locke could not have known what fun and strange events would happen next. As soon as he began to run, he had to stop and stand perplexed. A round and regal man appeared, emerging from behind a tree, with several bows about his beard, or where Locke thought a beard might be. This had to be, there was no doubt, the hairless ruler of the land. What brought him here, and why the pout, and why the whisker in his hand? His greedy gaze was glaring down upon the bag the boy had found. He slightly bowed, removed his crown, and took a knee upon the ground. "For years," he fussed, "I've sought to grow a bushy, burly beard, but no! Perhaps the dusty stuff you stow could make my facial hair to flow. My boy, I know we've never met, but I, the king, beseech your grace. I'd owe a debt for you to set some fairy dust upon my face." Well, Locke could not but stand there stunned at such a strange and stately plea. If I were he, I might have shunned the king's request and turned to flee. But Locke was kind and gave the king a dash of dust beneath the bows. A moment passed, and poof, and ping, a beard appeared in fluffy flows. "Woohoo, whoopee," the king declared, as all the bows about him fell. "At last I'm free and fully haired, my boy. I shall repay you well." The king embraced the boy with glee. "I pray you, come with me at once. My kingly court will surely see your family gets whate'er it wants." "I thank you," Locke expressed with joy, and took his fairy dust in hand. With setting sun, the king and boy began to walk across the land. But then, within a mile or two, as darkness fell and stars appeared, they heard a roar, and turning blue, the king exclaimed, "It's as I feared." The whole earth shook, the roaring grew, until, from out behind a rock, a dragon's head came into view with teeth that seemed as large as Locke. The dragon left its rocky crag and spread its wings to block their way. Its emerald eyes fell on Locke's bag and glimmered with a green array. "Hello, I bid you both good eve," the dragon bellowed, cool and cold. "You carry something, I believe, worth more than all a dragon's gold. You needn't fear, but hear my case. The fire in me has surely died. I beg you, please, to place a trace of fairy dust upon my hide." Well, Locke again was moved to trust the dreadful dragon speaking so. He started reaching for some dust, but then the king constrained him. "No!" The king was greedy, so he lied. "We mustn't meet this dragon's whim, for if we do, we'll both be fried. The fairy dust will go to him." "But sir, the dust belongs to me. and dragons die without their fire. I have to help him, don't you see, or else he'll die from darkness, sire. With that, the boy climbed up a rock, and speaking to the beast below, he said, "Hello, my name is Locke. I hope this dust restores your glow." The king felt great dismay inside to see the powder fill the air. It sparkled on the dragon's hide and caused its emerald eyes to flare. Much louder now than I can tell, the beast released a fiery boom. If only you had been there, well, you might have felt it spelt your doom. The dragon boomed as up it flew, erupting with volcanic joy. It blew its spew as dragons do, then perched itself beside the boy. "Arrah, my friend," the dragon roared, "of late I've been so sad with strife, but you have poured your precious hoard upon my back and saved my life." At this, the bearded king, it seemed, began to squirm. He fumed and fussed. "You wasteful boy, you fool," he screamed, "your haste has wasted half the dust." "From this point on," continued he, "I hereby issue this decree, that all your fairy dust shall be consumed and used by only me." The king began to climb the rock where both the boy and dragon stood. He thought, "I'll grab that bag from Locke and take these meddlers down for good." "I recommend you keep away," the dragon bared a toothy grin. "For if you don't, I have to say, my aim is good. You'll never win." Still blinded by his foolish greed, the crazy king began to charge, while Locke beside the beast he'd freed beheld its nostrils looming large. And lo, a scorching, seething sphere proceeded from the dragon's nose. It seared the king from ear to ear and stopped him in a beardless pose. A silence fell upon the scene. Without a doubt, the king was cooked. He tried to wipe his visage clean, bereaving how he must have looked. "I'm sorry," wept the hairless king. "I sought to meet my needs alone. My boy, you've done a decent thing, but by my greed, I'm overthrown." He slowly turned to walk away when Locke said meekly, smiling wide, "I thank you, sire, but have to say I'm glad that only you were fried." The king glanced back and smiled at Locke as if to say he'd seen the light, then climbing down the hefty rock, he disappeared into the night. Amazed at all the greed he'd seen, the boy was lost within a daze. At least the hairless king came clean and recognized his selfish ways. When several minutes passed at most, the dragon had a funny thought. "I never like to brag or boast, but how about that nostril shot?" The boy laughed hard. "Yeah, what a sight. I've never seen such perfect aim. Your skills were quite all right tonight. I wonder, do you have a name?" "Of course. My name is Debonair, or Deb for short. Is that a shock? You saved my life, so I declare I'm ever at your service, Locke." "It is a shock," the boy confessed. "You saved me too from quite a mess. My parents never would have guessed I'd meet a deadly dragoness." "Well, I can fly you home," said she. "This day has reached a splendid end. I hope they'll both be glad to see you found a dragon for a friend." The dragon dipped a scaly wing, and Locke climbed up, his bag in tow. "Just find yourself a spine and cling, enjoy the view, but don't let go." What joy it brought the boy to fly. He laughed and yelled aloud, "Woohoo!" A flash of fire filled the sky, and soon the two were out of view.